Assalamu alaikum, everyone. You guys might know me as Ahmed the Musafir on Instagram and TikTok, but now I'm on YouTube. And honestly, I've been delaying this for way too long. I've been trying to, you know, perfect everything, and I realized there's no way to get good until you actually do it, right? That's what I did with my TikTok. That's what I did with my Instagram. I started off not the way that I am right now. People might see it and be like, okay, I like his work. He must be good, but that wasn't the case. I started off, not the best, like an amateur, right? And now it's the same thing with YouTube now. I'm trying not to worry about the background or the lighting and then the focus. But inshallah, forget that. I really appreciate whoever's watching. I really appreciate you. Jazakallah khair. Thank you so much for watching the first video. This is a moment in history. Trust me. You're watching my first video and you're actually listening to me blab. That's crazy. Like, that in itself is an achievement. Anyways, okay, yes. Like you saw on my title, I'm going to be telling you about my Umrah story. Honestly, it's a really crazy one. Trust me. It just gets crazier and crazier the more that I go. I'm going to give you a backstory, and then I'm going to tell you what happened during it. And inshallah, I want to make another video of what I got from it and this, that. But right now, it's just going to be generally just my Umrah story. Okay? Okay, so they say that you don't go to Umrah. You're invited. There's some of the richest people in the world who never get to go for Umrah. But then there's some of the really poorest people in the world who went for Umrah. And it honestly just depends on what's written for you. If Allah wants you to go there, He will open up a way. Trust me, I've seen it happen with myself. When it was 2022, right? I was going through some very mentally draining, challenging things in my life, okay? Academically, financially, work-wise, family-wise, it was affecting my relationship with family because I was just so stressed out about everything. And there would be days where I just didn't want to come out of bed. I did not want to even wake up. And Ramadan 2022 came around. And that was the Ramadan that I really, really tried. Really tried fasting. Well, I've fasted before in previous Ramadans, but these fasts in a way where I really cared that they would be valid, right? I did everything that I could. I prayed Quran while I was fasting, and I tried to do more good deeds. I really tried this Ramadan. This was the first Ramadan where I really felt the contentment of it and the peace that came from it. So in the last 10 days of Ramadan, I don't remember exactly when, but me and my friends, we actually drove an hour and a half to go to a mosque for Taraweeh. And while we were praying, the Imam started making a long dua, right? I think this is when the Quran ended. So when he made that dua, he was very long. He was making it for the ummah, for everybody, this, that. And I just stood there. I just started crying. I literally just started bawling my eyes out because all of that stress that had been contained and that was eating me from the inside, it just all came out. It just all came out, and I was bawling my eyes out. And in that dua, I was like, Ya Allah, I am so desperate for your help right now. I don't know what I'm going to do. I don't know where my future is. I don't know what's going to happen. I don't even know what's going to happen in the next month. Ya Allah, please get me out of this. Your world is so big, but it's suffocating me. It's gotten small for me. I remember making that dua. And I left the prayer room after we prayed and we went home and Eid happened, this, that. And 2 weeks later, a friend comes up to me randomly out of the blue and he says, "Bro, I'm going for Umrah and I wanted to extend the offer to you. I'm just wondering if you want to come." Subhanallah, bro. I knew this was a sign from Allah. This was a sign from Allah. After I made that dua, now I'm getting asked to go for Umrah. That had never crossed my mind before. But now I was going through some financial issues, but I said yes. In an instant, I just thought to myself, I'm like, this is a sign, I have to go. And I told him yes. I did not care where I was going to get the money from. I did not even think about that. Where I'd get the money from, I don't even have that much savings. I'm going to go across the world from Canada to Saudi Arabia. The ticket alone is over $1,000. And he's like, I'm going to go next year in 2023. So this was 2022 right now. So in 8 months. Okay, so I went home, I processed it. I'm like, okay, how do I do this? I sat on my computer, I searched some flights, and I found a flight for $1,000. That's how much I had in my bank account, and I booked that flight. I did not think twice. I was like, you know what? I will worry about all that later. I want to go see the house of Allah. I want to go. I want to go so bad, man. So I just booked my flight. And the next day, I call my aunt and I tell her the good news. My aunt says, hold up. Let me call you back later. I get a call from my grandma. She says, MashaAllah, I just heard you're going for Umrah. And since you took this step, you know what? I'm going to cover your flight. Subhanallah. Did you see what happened there? I never expected anyone to pay for it. Okay, I never expected anyone to pay for me. I just made the intention to go and do it for the sake of Allah and Him alone. And subhanallah, I get the news from my grandma that she's going to cover my flight ticket. So that means that $1,000 that I spent, I didn't actually spend. So now I can use that later. After that, obviously I had to pay rent and I had to pay for other things, so that $1,000 didn't really last. Alhamdulillah, my grandma came through and she paid for that ticket, because I would have not been able to survive if I actually didn't have that money. So now I'm wondering, if I'm paying rent, how am I going to survive? Like, how am I going to save up? How am I going to save up if I'm still paying rent? Later, a month later, my friend calls me. He's like, bro, I'm living in this place. It has a basement and it's like no one's using it. Come live with me for free. No way does that just randomly happen. That was from Allah. I full-heartedly believe it. Because how could, like, these doors just started opening without me even trying? I just put the intention in. So I was like, yeah, for sure, man. And then I packed up my whole life. That room that I was living in had my whole life in it. I had it all decorated. I had leaves. I had LED lights, whatever. Like, that was the first time I even had a room of my own. And I decorated the way that I wanted to. So that place really meant a lot to me. But I did not care. I wanted to save money, as much money as I could, so I could go to this trip. And I just packed up a bunch of boxes and packed everything up and moved into his place for a couple months. The place didn't have a bed, but I didn't care, because, again, that was not my main priority. Comfort was not my main priority. It was to go for Umrah. I did not care. I was sleeping on like some air mattress. Alhamdulillah, I was working, and then I was able to save money. Now the time for Umrah comes. And obviously I'm excited. It didn't hit me until the night before. Even the night before, it didn't hit me. It hit me at the airport. Bro, I'm going for Umrah. What? I swear, I didn't have any money. Where did all this money come from? That's literally what I was thinking. I'm like, people spend their whole lives trying to save up, or Some of the richest people, they never get to go. And how in the world am I going? I couldn't believe it. I'm sitting in that flight, just my heart beating really fast. I'm like, no way am I going there right now. No way am I going to see the Kaaba. No way am I going. Like, it felt like a dream. A lot of other things happened while I was getting there. There was some problems at the Egyptian airport, some scammers or whatever. They tied me and my friends at Haram and started asking us for money. It was a whole bunch of things, but that's not the point here. The point is specifically on my Umrah story. So I get there and I meet my friends who are in the hotel waiting for me, and we walk in with our suitcases, and my heart's still rushing because I put my ihram on before going there, and I'm in my full ihram, nothing underneath. It's a different feeling, and I'm gonna go see the Kaaba. Like, I couldn't process that. I couldn't process that until I went in front of the masjid and I started walking towards it, my head down. And once I got close, I looked up and subhanAllah, it felt like a dream. It felt like, in that moment, the best way to explain it is it felt like the world didn't exist. The rest of the world didn't exist. My problems weren't problems. Everything that had ever hurt me or bothered me didn't even cross my mind. For the first time in my life, I felt true peace. I looked up and I see the beautiful shiny cloth on the Kaaba with the gold writing on it, and the birds flying around and the clouds. It was like a navy blue sky because it was nighttime, and people walking around the Kaaba. I've never felt that peace before, man. And I'm just thinking to myself, I'm like, Ya Allah, you opened these doors for me out of nowhere. I begged you, and now I'm here. Now I'm at your house. I'm at the place where we face 5 times a day. I'm standing in front of it. Subhanallah. And the trippiest thing was, I could go around that Kaaba and I could pray in any direction. In that city, it's harder to map out which way you're gonna face. When you're farther away, okay, you can be like, okay, I was facing this way, so it would be the same way there. But in Mecca, you go a little far, you gotta really remember where the Kaaba is. But and it doesn't end there, because what happened after is even crazier. I didn't have the money, but somehow I was able to travel the world after. And you might know this story from my Instagram, but inshallah I'll be posting that later. But I just want to re-emphasize what just happened. I was going through a lot of problems, right? And problems that were suffocating me. I didn't feel like there was a way out. And I made this dua, the most sincere dua I probably made in my life, where I was bawling my eyes out. I was begging. I was literally begging Allah. I was on my knees like, Ya Allah, get me out of this. And subhanAllah, a friend comes up to me, asks me if I want to go for Umrah. I book my ticket. I don't think about anything. My grandma calls me, says, I'll pay for your ticket, out of nowhere. Then another friend calls me saying, hey, come live with me so you can save money. This couldn't have been by chance, all of this. This was a strategically planned out thing. The way that Allah plans, subhanAllah. I look back at those problems that I was having, and some of them I'm still having right now, but I don't see those problems as problems that Allah sent me to punish me. I see them as problems that were meant to bring me closer to Him. See, maybe that's why we have problems. That's why things go wrong in our life, so that we could run back to Allah. Maybe that's what He wants. He wants you to not get too attached to this dunya. So He sends you problems and reminds you that, hey, I'm here. That I got your back. I'll take care of you. Just come back to me. I've started to see problems differently now because of that. Right? And like the Quranic verse, after hardship comes ease, right? The ease did come after the hardship, even though in the hardship it felt like it was never going to get easy. It felt like there was no light at the end of the tunnel, but I just didn't get far enough. And alhamdulillah, there was light after the tunnel. And inshallah, there is light after your tunnel, the problems that you're going through. But trust me, don't look at your problems like they're a punishment. Look at them as a blessing in disguise for you to go back to Allah, sincerely ask Him, and then He'll grant it to you. Inshallah, in this dunya or in the akhirah. You never know, but every dua will get answered in one way or another. Right? So alhamdulillah, that's one of my biggest takeaways that I took from this. I want you to just sit there and think about that for a little. That inshallah, with hardship, there will be ease. You just got to be more sincere with your du'as. And you got to be more patient. Alright, well, that is story time with Ahmed the Musafir. I hope you learned something. I hope you took away something from this. Jazakallah khair. Thank you for watching. And inshallah, I'll see you next time. Assalamu alaikum.